Welcome to this CommunityViz video tutorial. This tutorial will teach you about some additional options for running a standard numeric build-out analysis using the Scenario 360 build-out wizard. To get started, we'll launch the build-out wizard from Scenario 360 drop-down, Tools, Build-out Wizard. In the previous video, Build-out Wizard Standard Analysis, we showed you the most basic inputs necessary to run a numeric build-out, a land use layer, and density rules. In this video, we'll look at some of the additional options, including mixed-use land area, efficiency factors, constraints to development, and existing buildings. First, let's look at mixed-use land area. Any land use designation can be mixed use, as in there is both residential and non-residential development allowed. To account for this in the build-out wizard, we will start on the density rules screen. I'll scroll down to the land use designation transit mixed use, in which we've entered both a dwelling unit density and a floor area ratio. This tells the wizard this land area will allow both uses. Clicking Next, I see I now have the option to specify what % of the total land area applies to these densities. I can choose up to 100% of the land area for both uses, or I can specify smaller percentages. In this example, I'll set my residential % to 80 and my non-residential % to 20. Next, we'll look at incorporating efficiency factors into our analysis. Oftentimes, maximum allowable density is not commonly achieved, or you may want to reduce the ultimate yield by a certain percentage. For example, roads, open space, drainage areas, parking requirements, and other public dedications can be limitations on achieving maximum allowances. In early planning stages, you may simply just want to account for an overall loss in yield without having those areas all mapped out. We'll set some of our designations here to less than 100% efficient to factor some of those losses and then click Next. Sometimes you have mapped out constraints to development. Constraints are any areas where no development will occur. Typically, this can include water bodies, a 100-year floodplain, protected wildlife habitat, wetlands, and steep slopes, amongst other considerations. These areas will get clipped out of the buildable area layer entirely. For our urban redevelopment project, we have proposed a future greenway zone, and we'll use this as a constraint. Finally, we have the ability to reduce our development allowance based on what's already on the ground. If you provide a point layer of existing buildings in your study area, build-out will account for those in the numeric results and reduce accordingly. Here, we'll use the layer existing building points. We're now ready to click Finish and run a refined numeric build-out. Since we've already run build-out, we can choose to overwrite our last run, repopulating the results with our changes, or we can make a new scenario allowing us to compare different runs. We'll choose this second option, naming our new scenario Urban Fabric Refined. After this runs, CommunityViz automatically switches you to the second scenario. On our map, we can see where the greenway area was clipped out of the buildable area layer. Our charts are set to display the active scenario, but we can toggle to display them as Compare by All scenarios to understand the differences from our changes. Not surprisingly, our refinements result in slightly less potential for dwelling units, buildings, and floor area. This video explored the potential refinements to run a standard numeric build-out analysis. Follow-up videos will look at the next phases, spatial and visual build-out options, as well as even more advanced steps in the CommunityViz build-out wizard. Thank you for watching this CommunityViz video tutorial. For more video tutorials and CommunityViz resources, please visit our website.